Indeed.
Gremlin motherfucker Tom. Alright, so a little bit about Gremlin motherfucker Tom. He was probably in his late 30s. He was a little heavy set. He had a shaved head. He had a huge growth on his shoulder. Hence the name Gremlin motherfucker Tom. He didn't get his name when I first met him. When I first met him, I thought he was a nice guy. He was pretty cool. He was at a hostel. Seemed like a pretty cool guy. He got to talking. He seemed pretty boastful, about his past achievements, which didn't really seem too impressive because I can't remember them right now. But he was supposedly really wealthy and, the basic con man spiel, now that I look back. I didn't think it was possible for me to go back to the United States because I was under the impression that I had some legal issues in the United States, and if I was to go back, I would be detained and have to spend some time locked up, which I didn't want to do. So going back to home, quote unquote, wasn't an option. But we were still in a very hostile environment. When I say hostile environment, I mean we were actually at a hostel and people were partying, and mainly it was just marijuana. Sometimes people would come in there with some crazy stuff, some LSD or something. But when people went out, they didn't really go out until almost midnight to the bars on the beach. Down in Zicatella, but so people were doing cocaine. People liked the cocaine. There was one girl in particular that stood out to me that I knew was giving people the cocaine, and she was always arriving on a scooter, and she was could have been American, or she's very light-skinned Latina if she was, and she had a flower tattoo on her shoulder, and she was really nice, and very recognizable tattoo. A lot has happened with me by this point in Mexico, and I'm kind of at my wit's end. So far I've already been through Con Man Mike. I've lost a couple $1,000 that way out of my almost $10,000 to begin with. And then I was actually held up by gunpoint when I was walking down the road with my girlfriend at the time. They didn't get anything, but it's still pretty crazy. I was just walking down the road, had a book bag on. Some guy rolls up on a scooter, gets off the scooter. He's about 6 foot away from us, has the gun down by his waist, points it at us, says something in Spanish. Could have been blah, 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 blah. I have no idea what he was saying. Our arms are in the air. There's nothing I could do. He's too far away. But then as we're backing up with our hands in the air, we kind of look behind us, and it's a truck with 5 police guys in the back with big old machine guns. So I just look at this truck, and I'm just the happiest guy in the world. I just start pointing at this guy with a gun at me, and I'm just Robo, tengo la pistola. I automatically knew Spanish, and they just start, he tries to get on his moped and get away, and next thing you know, the truck with the cops is chasing the moped, and it goes off into the distance. And my girlfriend, she tells me that what I heard over the megaphone was them yelling, "Stop in the name of the law," and we didn't hear it. And then a few seconds after that, we heard gunshots. So I'm not sure what happened to the guy. I had an experience in the hospital, that I was in the hospital for a few days because I got a deathly blood disease, blood disease that I knew I got it 5 seconds after I got it, and that's kind of a separate story. But I've been through a whole lot up to this point, and I gotta make some money. So the plan was to try to get some cocaine. You know, everyone was doing it. This is all hypothetical. Anyway, the plan was to try to get some of that. And I'm staying at the hostels, and all these tourists are doing it, and they want to do it. Might as well get it from me, right? So I don't get it from that same girl just because I don't want to step on her toes. And first off, I've been through a lot, and I wasn't really thinking clearly. You know, I do understand that I was in Mexico, and this is a bad idea. Don't ever do this. This is bad. And I was stupid for even attempting it. But I talked to my girlfriend, and I've been there for a little while now, and she's a bartender, and she was like, all right, I know where to get some. And we go and get it from this guy. Well, we go and meet this guy, and she's a local like Mexican chick, and she knows the connects and stuff. And we go meet this guy, and he's like, you're not getting it to sell it, are you? You know, in Spanish. And she translates. She's like, oh, no way, no, we're going on a trip, we're gonna party. And I get like, I forget how much money I spent. I spent like 2,300 pesos or something. So I don't even know how much money that is. It was like $100 or $200, and I got like 20 something grams of cocaine in this big old rock. It starts off kind of shaky right away with the guy saying, you're not going to sell this, are you? And we're like, oh, no way, we're going on a trip. But then afterwards, after we get it she gets it from the guy with the big sombrero, and he takes out this big old rock. It's like a golf ball. And I don't even do the stuff, really. I don't even enjoy it. But I knew it was a way to get some money, so I had to try. But so when we go to try to leave, the middleman, he wants some, you know, for the trouble. So, yeah, we agreed to give him some. We give him it looks like a good little amount, but dude, he wants more. He's not happy. So already it starts like not good vibes. You know, this is not good vibes from the get. And I don't really condone it. It's just part of what hypothetically happened in my hypothetical life. I mean, are we even here right now? I don't know. So we finally get out of there, and he's not happy off the bat. You know, I get it. You know, I'm like, we're not trying to do all of it. You know, she wants to do it, so she's real happy off the bat. I'm like, I don't even really do it. I just want to go like bag it up. And this is where Tom, Gremlin motherfucker Tom, comes into play. He's at the same hostel. We've kind of been doing it. You know, he's kind of been doing it. I'm not really into doing it, but I thought he was my friend one night. And we're just hanging out in the small little room, and he helps me bag it up, you know, into like a bunch of different little baggies. It was actually a lot of work. It didn't take all night, but it took a couple hours. And the next day comes, and I'm like, all right, first day of business, right? I'm really pumped. So my girlfriend's a bartender, keep in mind. So she tells me that at the bar, she sees Gremlin motherfucker Tom at the bar, and he's, you know, sitting like with the cartel guys, the guys that are in the cartel. And he hasn't said anything about me to them, to her knowledge, but earlier he was talking shit on me to her at the bar, you know, like saying some Gremlin motherfucker stuff. So she wouldn't put him past him to slip up and say something about him helping me to those cartel guys. And those cartel guys are nothing to mess with. So I hear this, and I'm kind of already freaked out a little bit. I'm like, oh my goodness, like what? Cartel guys? I wasn't even thinking like that. What are the odds that this guy's sitting? How did this happen so quickly? You know, I'm like tripping. And shortly after that, some like older middle-aged white dude that normally gets it from like the cartel guys, he comes in and he's like a tourist. He's like some, I don't know, trust tourist, but he lives here. He's got like a house here and stuff. He's like a blatant out, flat out. You can tell this guy's a cokehead. He's got like red hair. Every time I see him, he's doing coke, and he ran circles even with Mike. It's funny how it ties in with Con Man and Mike. Like this guy, me and Con Man Mike went and looked at this guy's house that he was trying to sell for like $60,000 something, and probably for cocaine. But anyway, this guy comes and he's looking for Gremlin motherfucker Tom or Mike or anybody, and then he's looking all tweaked out like he wants something, and so he asks me, you know, like, you got any stuff? And I give it to him, and that's where I just start getting real paranoid and things start falling apart real quick, and they just got started. It was the craziest thing. Basically, after him getting some, I just get really aware of what's going on. And over the next few days, I guess I'm looking back, I might have been a little bit paranoid. But this is like over 2 or 3 days, me and Tom's friendship dissolves. Just due to him mostly being a gremlin motherfucker, but also to me, you know, I did find that we were on Facebook, we were Facebook friends, so I did look into him, and I actually wrote some of his friends asking them what they think about him, just some random ones, and most of them replied, "Be careful with Tom. He, you know, like, it was like warning me, you know." And we ended up speaking about this, and he like got enraged and said I was trolling him. "You're trolling me!" And started flipping out. We were no longer friends. He was Gremlin motherfucker Tom, and that was that. So the next day comes, and some kids, you know, not kids, but people are always hanging around the hostel and stuff, and word gets around quick. And word's going around that there's actually a video of, like a death video going around. And that's like, what? And this is all at once, it feels like this is happening. And the video, I hear it's of the girl with the flower tattoo on her shoulder. And I heard it was a video of her in the woods. And anyway, they did what they did to her, like they chopped her head off or whatever. And right when I heard that was circulating around, I moved. Me and my girlfriend, we were like freaked out about that, and we still had a bunch of this stuff, and it was all bagged up separately and stuff. So we didn't want to ride with it all 8 hours away, so we were doing a lot of it, because I don't know, like, I don't even like it. I say that, and I'm like, why am I doing this? I'm doing it, and I'm like, what the fuck am I doing? It was kind of a nightmare situation. And then we move 8 hours away to Oaxaca because we didn't want to be in danger of possibly getting killed. Anything like cocaine or anything that's hard like that just brings a bad vibe with it, a bad shadow, and will bring any situation bad. So looking back, it was definitely my choices, my environment, but we're just calling it the story of Gremlin motherfucker Tom. So anyway, we moved to Oaxaca, and that's a different story.